The Kingdom of Trevor and the Gospel of Fridge Bingo. Trevor sat in his Aldi middle-aisle recliner like a man who'd conquered the known world, and found it slightly disappointing. The chair, black mesh, vaguely ergonomic and allegedly weatherproof, had been reduced to a tenner, though he insisted to anyone within earshot that it was originally 90 and used by astronauts. It creaked under him like a pensioner's knees, but it faced the sun, and that was what mattered. His motorhome, a swift Sundance that had once gleamed like a promise, now bore the patina of 1,000 Aldi car parks and one regrettable trip to Skegness. It was parked with military precision in a gravel bay. Out came a folding table that looked like it had survived the Blitz. The table's origin was a mystery, possibly a pound shop, possibly a cursed antique, but it held the sacred objects of Trevor's daily ritual: 2 recliners, 2 mugs, and a sense of superiority so thick you could spread it on toasted soda bread. The mugs were white, pristine, and from B&M. It bore the words "Survive, Sigh, Scroll" in a font that screamed divorcee energy. Inside it swirled red brand tea, brewed to the color of guilt and strong enough to strip paint. Trevor sipped it with the solemnity of a man who believed in tannins and tradition. Dishwashers were for the weak. His wife hand-washed everything, including his white-ironed socks. He wore fake Ray-Bans, prescription if you looked close enough, and a zip-up fleece that had once been navy, but now hovered somewhere between storm cloud and mouldy teenager's sock. His gaze tracked the sun like a sunflower with a mortgage. As the sun moved, so did Trevor, the table, chairs, and appetizers. He was precise like a human sundial. He was, in his own words, living the dream. No one had asked whose dream. Although the other parked vanlifers were now wondering if whoever invented the sundial observed Trevor and copied the idea. From the motorhome emerged Sharon, his partner in life, leisure, and low-stakes deception. She wore a knockoff Dior tracksuit, a bag slung across her chest like a tactical vest, and sunglasses that spelled Chanel with an extra N. Her trainers said Nika in a font that looked suspiciously like Comic Sans. She carried 2 dainty bowls, one of supermarket hummus, the other of pre-cut carrot batons, and placed them on the table with the flourish of a woman who'd watched too much Come Dine With Me. "Made it all from scratch," she said, not meeting his eye. Trevor nodded. They both knew the truth lay in the rubbish bag, nestled among receipts, reduced to clear stickers and a half-eaten Scotch egg. But they played the game. That was the point. Authenticity was for people with time and therapy. They dipped in silence, thumbs tapping on their ancient iPhones, each encased in a protective shell so bulky it could survive re-entry. The screens were cracked, the batteries unreliable, but they were portals to curated lives and keep up with the Jones WhatsApp groups. Sharon checked her TikTok. Trevor checked the UV index and the price of pork pies. The sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the gravel. Trevor drained the last of his tea and set the mug down with ceremony. "Right," he said. "Time for the main event." Sharon perked up. "Fridge bingo?" "Fridge bingo," he confirmed, with the gravitas of a man announcing the birth of a grandchild. They retreated into the motorhome, where the fridge, a sleek, suspiciously cheap unit bought from an online auction site called Bargain Bay, sat humming in the kitchenette like a hive of very angry bees. The seller had described it as state-of-the-art Scandinavian cooling tech. It had arrived in a box with Cyrillic writing, a faint smell of mold, and a warranty written in invisible ink. The seller had vanished from the internet shortly after the transaction, leaving behind only a 5-star review and a profile picture of a cat wearing sunglasses. The fridge did chill, technically, but it also displayed numbers on its LED panel in a manner not unlike a bingo caller on ketamine. Trevor had once tried to reset it. The fridge responded by flashing B12 and locking its door for 3 hours. They'd made it a game. Sharon fetched the bingo book and glitter pens. Trevor stood before the fridge like a priest before an altar. "Tonight's jackpot," he intoned, "is control of the remote and first pick of the breakfast pastries." The fridge flickered. "G, 57, N, 31, O, 69, Sharon squealed. "Oh, 69, that's my glitter square." Trevor sighed. "Romance lives in the refuse." She kissed him on the cheek and claimed her prize. He didn't mind. She always picked the chocolate croissant, and he preferred the cinnamon swirls anyway. It was a system. It was sacred. He would be more insufferable otherwise. They returned to their thrones, the sun now a smear of orange behind the windbreak. Sharon scrolled through her TikTok drafts, debating whether to post her latest homemade dip tutorial. Trevor watched the sky change colour and thought about the awning he still hadn't fixed. It had collapsed during a storm in Cleethorpes and now hung like a limp metaphor. They sat in silence, two monarchs of a tiny kingdom, basking in the glow of curated contentment. The fridge hummed softly behind them, like a skeleton wearing an abundance of chains. And as the stars blinked into view, Trevor whispered, "Tomorrow we do the scenic route past the bins." Sharon smiled. "Luxury." If you enjoy my van life-inspired stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.